your childhood trauma affects you today. Now, I know some of you might have trouble believing, like, wait, my childhood determines how I act as an adult. Not completely, but I could definitely see how some of the habits you'd made as a kid determine how you act today as an adult. Now, I struggled to see this too early on, but I think I didn't really fully notice something was up until my freshman year in college, where I went to Fresno Pacific, everybody went home from spring break. I was the only one on campus. And literally for 7 days, I didn't see another person or talk to another person or call another person. I was completely by myself. And I was completely cool with that. I was totally fine. I didn't feel awkward or weird. And after 7 days of not interacting with the human, I was like, most people can't do that. That's not normal. Like, I know that's me, but why is that? And that's when I started reflecting on, like, why do I have this tendency to be such a, loner by myself? What's up with that? I don't get it. Why is that? And then I started reflecting on my childhood. See, when I was a child, I went to 17 elementary schools because we were poor and my mom made a lot of bad decisions. That's a whole nother message in itself. I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, I still remember, it really didn't matter how much we moved until like I got to kindergarten or, like 5 years old. And then you go to school and then like I'd make really good friends and get really attached. And then 3 or 4 months later, my mom's like, oh, we got to move. And I swear, man, I cried, like bawled my eyes out, like I was going to lose all my friends. And it was this scary, sad thing. And I had no choice but to, get over it. So we moved, went to the next place, made a bunch of friends, got super close, got super excited. And then a couple months later, we got to move again. And I just remember like crying my eyes out. Probably worse the second time around than the first time because it hurt that much more because I got that much more attached. And then as I got older, the cycle repeated itself like 4 or 5 times. And then it clicked for me, like, the more attached that I become to people, the more it's going to hurt when we move or when they're not in my life anymore. And it was at that moment as like a 5 or 6 year old, maybe even 7, I was like, you know what? I'm done making really close friends. I'm going to make friends at a distance that I kind of talk to, that I can be cool with, but I'm not going to make super close friends because in the end, I'm just going to move. And I'm going to cry and be sad and lonely that they're not my friend anymore. And that's when I became like solely pretty much to myself, that superficial, hi, how you doing? But deep down, I was like, stay away. And then just me and God, that's it. I got me and God. I can just pray. He'll always be there. There's really nobody else to rely on in terms of friends. And that molded me. And it took me years. It wasn't until I was 19 years old that I even got close to recognizing the concept. And so I had to change a few things. I had to realize, like, you know what? I gotta stop being scared of making relationships with people, being afraid that they're going to leave me someday or not be a part of my life. It's a defense mechanism that I developed. Now, my story, it's a little different, but you got something. There was something that you went through that nobody else had to, that your parents deprived you of, that created trauma for you, that made you sad. And when you're a kid, you're pretty much powerless. You can't change it. If your dad's getting drunk and beating up your mom, as a 5, 6, 10-year-old, there's nothing you can do. You can't beat him up. You can't do any of that stuff. And you feel powerless. And your brain starts injecting all kinds of chemicals and dopamine and all kinds of other adrenaline. And you're just trying to find, like, first couple times it drives you crazy, but then you start to realize, like, if I come home and I be quiet and I say nothing and I don't argue with my brothers and sisters, I won't make my dad mad. And he's less likely to get into a fight with my mom or to beat me and my brothers and sisters. I've heard stories like that. I've also heard stories where people are always seeking attention because they would do sports and win all these awards and dad wouldn't show or mom wouldn't show their games. And so they always felt like they never had approval. So now they feel like they have to be the center of attention at parties and everybody has to notice them because they just want approval. We all got these things, all these things that hurt, these scars deep down inside. You're not alone. And now as adults, we got to figure it out. That's why I'm encouraging you guys, kind of reflect on your childhood. What are some habits you developed as a kid and how have they developed now as an adult? Maybe talk to a therapist, maybe talk to your friend, talk to a mentor. Try and reflect on some of the things where I don't know why I do this. And maybe, because we all got room to get better. We all got scars and trauma from kids and from being a kid. Here's the thing though, you're a grown man now, you're a grown woman. You have the power, you have the mental toughness to make those changes. You're not a powerless child anymore. And I want you guys just to make the best of your life. Not just for you, but for your partner, for your kids, for everyone around you. Because your childhood trauma affects you as an adult. You can accomplish anything you want as long as you're willing to sacrifice and put in the work. I believe in you. Go get them.